First stop on our way out to Istanbul was an airport in Baku. Uh, the airport in Baku is very big and there are a lot of shops, places to sit, to relax, to drink coffee. There are a lot of different installations and it's very beautiful. We were sitting there for a few hours and then we flew to Istanbul. We actually weren't very smart and we bought a SIM card and ordered a taxi right at the airport. The taxi costed us around $35 and actually it wasn't just any taxi. It was Mercedes E-Class, which is actually a business class. From the very beginning in Istanbul, we understood that it's not easy to drive there because there are a lot of cars, a lot of pedestrians, and the streets are quite small. Also, drivers and pedestrians don't pay attention to each other. Drivers just driving and walkers just walking. But anyway, Istanbul is very beautiful city. We actually didn't know where we rented an apartment and it appeared that we were almost in the center of the city. Actually, there are no such thing like the center of Istanbul, but there are some places that locals or tourists think as a center. We were living in a beautiful walking street that is near the Taksim Square. There were always a lot of tourists and a lot of things were going on there. We not only didn't know on which street we were living, but also we were not quite sure in which apartment we were living because it was a last moment decision because we couldn't find anything else to rent. And actually, it was an old 4 floors building, and we were living at the top of that building on the 4th floor. And the stairs there were quite scary because you can see how thin it is. I was wondering how it holding on the wall and really how it's not falling. It's still the question, but it was interesting experience. Apartment itself were very small, but at least there were a private kitchen, a private bathroom, and a working place, or maybe for some people just a table, but for us it was a working space. In the apartment there was a radiator, but what's an interesting thing, it's a centralized heating and it wasn't working all the time. That was working only when it was colder than some kind of temperature. We didn't sure which exactly, but sometimes it was working and sometimes it wasn't. Mostly it was working during the night, but for us it was still quite cold. As I already mentioned, we were living next to Taksim Square, where is located the famous Taksim Mosque. Also on this street you can see the famous red tram and there are always a lot of tourists and people and street musicians and other interesting stuff is going on. See the entrance actually, but we were visiting some other mosques in Istanbul. Not far from us located Galata Tower. It's a very famous place that you can see on many souvenirs in Istanbul. We didn't go there because we decided that it's quite expensive. It costed 450 Turkish lira, which is around $24 per person. But we went to Hagia Sophia. It's a very old and interesting place. It was built in the year 360 of our era, and it was Greek Orthodox Church. In 1453, with Ottoman Empire, it became a mosque, and it served as a mosque until 1935, when it became a museum. But in 2020, it again became a mosque.
Istanbul, por favor.
Lütfen.
If you will look closely on the ceiling, you will see an Orthodox cross. But the most of the interior doesn't remind of the Orthodox past. Outside of the mosque, you can see the place where Muslim people wash their feet before prayer. Me personally, it reminded about scene in Harry Potter. We also visited New Mosque, which was built in 17th century and known for its beautiful interior. Also, I forgot to mention that in mosques you have to cover your head and take off your shoes. In front of the new mosque, there is the Museum of Banking, which is located in the building of the first bank in Turkey. On the first floor, there is a World War I exposition, which tells us about the fightings and weapons. Also, you can see the Morse telegraph and try to send an encrypted message on it. The second floor is all about banking. You can see different typewriters and calculators, ledgers and first commercials on a very old TV, but all the exposition is in Turkish. On the same square you can visit Tomb of Turhan Sultan. It is the mausoleum of five Ottoman sultans located in Istanbul. It was built in 1663 for Turhan Sultan, chief queen consort of Sultan Ibrahim and mother of Sultan Mehmed IV. One more interesting place to visit is Dolmabahce Palace. It was the main administrative center of the Ottoman Empire from 1856 to 1922. The palace was built in Baroque style and is located on the seashore. It has a lot of decorations and detail. It took 14 tons of gold to decorate the crystal stairs and other interiors, and the total cost of construction exceeded 5 million gold pounds. But not only sultans lived in the palace. After the fall of the monarchy, Ataturk settled in the place. Here he died on November 10th of 1938. The territory of the palace is also big. There live in different birds such as guinea hen or peacocks or just chicken. And swans. Also, there are some cafes which you can visit, one of them located in the art museum and has a beautiful view on the sea. The ticket per one person costs 300 Turkish lira, which is around $16. Also, you can take a free audio guide. To get back from Dolmabahce Palace to Taksim Square, you have to go up the hill. So we decided to use the funicular. To use the funicular, you buy the same ticket as for metro, and it costs 15 Turkish lira. And the ride will take around 5 minutes. Also, if you're in Turkey, try Turkish sweets. They are incredibly good. And also all over the Istanbul they sell chestnuts. We tried it once. It tastes like potato. Also once when we were walking on our street we saw the armored vehicles. It was strange and interesting. We didn't understand why we saw it, but there were a lot of them. And actually in few of the days, actually when we already moved from that area, there was a terrorist attack. We were quite scared and few people died, and it was just terrible. And we are terribly sorry for those people. But that's not only the places we saw in Istanbul, and looking forward for the second part to know more about this wonderful city. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and there will be more videos about different places. See you soon!